you just joined the Navy or you're thinking of joining the Navy and you're wondering what boot camp's going to be like, what you should do to prepare for boot camp, what things that you can bring. I was an honor recruit and made it through boot camp, obviously, into A school. I'm a yeoman, so I do admin work, but I'm also a reservist, so weekend warrior. So I can't give any advice on the active duty side of it, but I did go through all of boot camp. I did go through all of A school, so I can offer advice on that. So I wrote down some things. Going into boot camp, you really need to know your 11 general orders, your rank and recognition. So rank and recognition is like what a chief's patch looks like, what their like officers' shoulder boards, what those look like, their collar devices, like knowing the differences between enlisted and officer, E1 through E9, and O1 through O10. So I know there's flashcards on Quizlet and stuff where people have already made these. Definitely know those, because in boot camp you're going to have academic tests and you're going to have personnel inspections where they go around and they ask you these questions, and they ask you like your chain of command, which you can't really learn beforehand. You can learn like the main people at the top of the chain of command, but you don't know your personal chain of command until you're in boot camp. Sailor's Creed is important. They'll probably have you guys say it like every night before you go to bed. And then Anchors Away is our little song. So you don't really have to learn Anchors Away now, but definitely 11 general orders, Sailor's Creed, and your rank and recognition. Also, there is a little like test at the beginning of boot camp where it's like a general knowledge test. So if you go in, like say you signed your contract and you're an E1 and like you studied before you went to boot camp, there's this test at the beginning that doesn't count for anything, but if you score well enough on that test, they will meritoriously promote you to the next pay grade, E2 to E3. If you're an E3, you can't get any higher than E3 at boot camp. I was an E3 going in because of my college credits. So knowing all this stuff before you go is very helpful so that you can get a promotion. Like, who doesn't want a free promotion? The physical aspect of it. So being a honor recruit, I was in the top like 3% of my training group. So like 800 and some sailors, and I was in the top 26. And that was out of our academic tests, our fitness scores, our personnel inspections, and our like dorm rack inspections. So I'm a Division I athlete, so like it's I go to the gym and I do all that shit, but I was not a runner. I'm not a runner. I'm still not a runner. And if there's any advice that I can give for people, it's start running now, because like the push-ups and the plank, they will beat into you. When you do PT in boot camp, when you get beat for someone else's mistake, when you get beat for your own mistake, you will get physically fit. Running is the one thing that they can't help you with. Like, we went to Freedom Hall and we would do runs maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe. And even then, like, you have to push yourself. Like, you need to make sure that you're getting the most out of those runs. I would try and stay with one of my friends who I knew ran faster than I did. Near the end of boot camp, we had like SEAL candidates in our division. I ran with one of our SEAL candidates because he was sick, so I knew he wasn't running as fast as he usually does. But like someone to push me, to run faster. So you can find all of the times and stuff that you need. for your age group online. Like, I'm 20. I was 20 in boot camp. So I needed to do a 15-15 run. I ended up doing like a 13:40 something for the mile and a half. Push-ups, it's like 20 something like that in 2 minutes. I ended up doing 92 for the PFA. And then the plank, I maxed out my plank, the 3 minutes and like 24 seconds, I think it is. The planks and the push-ups, they will teach you. You'll be able to do push-ups and planks by the end of boot camp if you couldn't do them going in. Running, start now. Start now. The swim. So, if you cannot swim, I would suggest learning how to swim before you go. It's not a deal breaker if you can't swim, obviously. So basically you do the swim the first week that you're in boot camp, and you jump off of this, like, jump or you're pushed off of this platform that's like 10 feet above the water, but like then add your height to that. So like for me, it was like 15 feet from me to the water, like from my eyes. And then you have to swim like the length of the pool, and then they have you do 2 different kinds of, like, there's a floating that you do with coveralls on, and then there's like a treading water. So if you don't pass those, you're still gonna stay in boot camp, and they're just gonna send you to swim lessons that are like run by Navy divers, like expert swimmers, so you'll be fine. But a lot of people end up staying in boot camp longer than they have to because they didn't pass their swim, or because by the end of like week 8 or week 9, you still haven't passed your swim. Now you have to go to a different division. You can't graduate with your division because you haven't passed swim yet. So, yeah, I can do another video on like what to bring with you, because I feel like this is already really long-winded. So, yeah.